how easy it is to hit a golf ball. Show you how easy it is when you go about the right procedures.
Setting the record straight. If you've visited my channel before, there's a very high probability that you have visited it to see a video about Mo Norman, because he has created a lot of interest in the golfing world for very good reason. And I'm grateful to all of you who have stopped by, subscribed, and watched the Mo Norman videos, but I can't help but notice in the comments from time to time there will be someone who will say something like, "Why do you say Mo Norman was the greatest player ever? He never won a PGA tournament. He fell apart when he went down there." And it kind of gets my dander going, because they're missing the whole point of the Mo Norman phenomenon. First of all, he never ever bragged about him being a great player. What he did brag about was other great players saying he was the purest striker of the ball. And those are the words they used. The purest striker of the ball. And the reason he maintained was because his swing was so deceptively simple that he was able to maintain the exact same mechanics and hit all the same positions throughout his swing and create a level of repeatability that was absolutely phenomenal. And of course, what we as golfers really want to do, the Ben Hogan 5 easy steps or 5 steps to golfing, I forget the exact title, but it's the same thing. It's a swing plane examination of what works for the human body, and Mo figured it out, I think, better than anybody by sheer repetition. But to compare him to PGA Tour players who have so many advantages, I like to think of the movie Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman, which is, it's modeled on a true experience. And Rain Man didn't go on to teach at Harvard or become a nuclear physicist or solve the problems of the universe. Sure, he was incredibly intelligent in some things and counting cards, but clearly handicapped in other ways, as was Mo. So to expect Mo to travel in his car down to the States and start playing the PGA Tour and expect to, the man could probably barely live on his own and take care of himself, and golf is what saved him. So making those kind of comparisons, in my mind, are just not right at all. I hope you're with me on that one. And I made a couple of notes here of stuff I want to talk about, and one thing about Mo's swing that is quite different from watching the pros in the PGA Tour, and they show this with analysis all the time when they get the fancy tracer red line and show how they loop at the top and do things like that. And they're just so wonderfully talented. They're able to get the club face back to square most of the time. It doesn't even matter now. They hit it so far they can just 90-degree wedge, 90-degree, 60-degree wedge it over the trees and pull off the amazing shots like Tiger Woods and those guys do, because they just hit it so far, they're close, right? And if there's a shot, there's a shot. And meanwhile, with a repeatable swing like Mo Norman's, which under analysis shows you it's always the exact same plane, which is just phenomenal, he's able to repeat, and he was known for, hitting a 5-iron, and then you could walk out there with a fruit basket and literally put it over the circle of balls. They all landed uncannily close to each other, and I can attest to that. When I was filming him, I basically spent, half a day following him around while he went and hit drives and then mid-irons and then off to the sand trap. And by the time he was finished, they gave him a pile of probably 2,000 balls, and he would have just kept on hitting them if we would have let him. And maybe 200 balls into it, you look out there and there's 200 balls in a fairly close circle with no strays that are farther outside than 10 feet or 12 feet. It's just uncanny to see that kind of thing. And, he never said he was the best player. He said he had the most simple, repeatable swing, right? Imagine if Mo Norman had been mentored like somebody like Tiger Woods and had someone to look after him. Clearly this man was struggling just to get through life. And having been myself personally 10 feet away from him and feeling that energy, you can totally tell what a great man and what a kind soul he was. And he had a sense of humor. He definitely had a sense of humor. And you know, there's so many articles about him and how great he was and the story of the amazing man. You know, he wasn't a player's player. And I'm sure that stepping into the world of the PGA Tour was just shocking for him, you know, and people were probably giving him the look like, oh my God. I mean, you look at the man and you can tell, right? He's got a few challenges. He's slightly odd looking and slightly odd in his demeanor of the way he would walk, and he'd say things twice, you know. I myself found him absolutely endearing and charming, and I guess it just kind of irks my temper a bit when I read negative comments that really are just so out of line, because, you know, it just seems ridiculous to nitpick and troll and try and find something wrong with one of, you know, the world's amazing creations. The man did one thing better than anybody, and that was to hit a golf ball the exact same way every time and figure out how to, you know, as Bobby Jones would say, hit it squarely in the back was the key. Mo knew how to do that, and once you know how to do that every time, then you can truly work the ball. And I watched him do it that afternoon that I made the videos that you all enjoy and comment on, and I thank you very much for that. It's much appreciated. But I thought it was time to set the record straight, as the title says, and what I'm really doing is setting the record straight for myself. Stop picking on Mo. You know, if you need to make a negative comment, maybe something like, well, he may have been the purest striker of the ball, but he never won a PGA event. Period. You know, factual, true, so what? I can tell you one thing. If you were one of the people who was lucky enough to be at a Mo Norman workshop, you know, and he was giving tips verbally the same time he was hitting it, but watching his swing and how he hit it is really where the magic was. And if you've watched my videos of Mo Norman that I took that afternoon, you'll see for the most part when he's hitting the driver on, well, actually every time he's hitting, most of the people are quickly looking to see where the ball went and you know, and not watching his finish even. And the magic is in watching the swing, the mechanics of the body. The club is just along for the ride, as, you know, I think Mo Norman said more than once in the video, right? He had so many quotable quotes, and I still go back and watch my own videos to this day. I treasure that original tape, which is in the hands of a producer in the United States now, who is supposed to be doing a documentary on Mo. I hope I get the tape back, but it's on my computer anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And that's all I've got to say on Mo Norman setting the record straight today. Stop bashing Mo. Accept him for what he was. And you know what? Give his golf swing a try. I did, and I play like that now. And I consistently am more on the course, in play, and shooting lower scores. So that says it all for me. Anyway, Mo Norman, the man, the legend, setting the record straight. Rest in peace, Mo.